Hey everybody, welcome to World of Warships with Captain Yamo. I'm your host, Captain Yamo. Hopefully what we'll be doing here is we'll be learning how to use these destroyers, the battleships, the carriers, and the cruisers to mad effectiveness. I just want people to fear my name. Unfortunately, I'm simply a little minnow right now learning how to do it. So here we go with a Tier 5 game in my Minakaze Tier 5 Japanese destroyer. Yeah, it's funny, at the beginning of this match, some of the guys in there were talking about how dangerous and overpowered torpedoes are. And my opinion on it is that you need to see what the game is about. It's brand new. Before you really start saying something is OP or whatever, make sure that you know what you're doing. Torpedoes are very overpowered if all you ever do in your ship is run one speed, one heading. I guarantee you will take torpedo hits if that's all you can manage. An effective captain, not necessarily saying I am one, but an effective captain is going to change its direction or her direction and speed. You know what? And as a little political note here, if I say his, assume I mean his and her. Can we just go there? Make it easy on me. Anyways, you'll notice I used kind of the same tactic on this map as I did in the Isokaze match I played. It's really important to get in here and kind of control this area, and so that's what I'm looking to do with the Minakaze right now. Neat little following camera. The only problem is that your ship is still moving while you're in this view, and so that means you could be hitting islands and all the other trouble. So we pop off a little smoke there. While you're in the smoke, if you turn off your anti-aircraft guns, then you can't be spotted unless you're firing at the enemies. So I know that destroyer's there. I slow down so that I'm not exposing myself until I have my torpedoes loaded. I fire a couple of area denial torpedoes shots here, and then we get back underway. I want to say that stopping in your battleships, in your ships of any kind, is not really a great idea. It just makes you a target, but we're learning. So I come around the corner, I see the destroyer there. These shots really aren't meant for that guy. I mean, who knows, maybe he'll turn into it and I'll get lucky. But that's actually meant for any other ships that happen to be coming through that pass. And so, as soon as I took my eyes off of him, he shot me in the propeller, and he launched torpedoes, which I expected. And then, I did something really foolish. Yeah, that battleship that just slammed into me and took torpedo hits for me there, that ramming was not his fault. That was completely my fault. Smaller, faster, more agile ships have the responsibility to avoid larger ships. And torpedo launching ships have a responsibility to make sure that they're not launching these torpedoes where their friendlies are. So you can see I'm totally disabled here. We are losing speed. We're at like 6.5 knots right now as I professionally adjust the microphone while I'm recording. And so I'm taking some fire, finally get repaired, and decide to get the hell out of here. I take some shots at this guy because my battleship is dead in the water, and I decide I'm going to get out of this little area because I'm taking too much fire. Of course, objectively speaking, you look at my health and, scraped off 1,000 or so hit points on that friendly battleship, and there you go. That's a sunk cruiser. So he got hit twice, flooded twice, critical hit, and then he foundered. So now as I'm coming around this island, I'm basically just looking for a new spot to enter this battle. so that you know, they've all decided to engage other people and ignore me. And I see a great opportunity to launch some torpedoes at multiple targets. You've got these two battleships out there, one trailing the other, and they're all out there by that carrier. So I launched a spread of torpedoes in the hopes of causing massive trouble. And that's kind of what you want to do when you have torpedoes. You know, if you can launch it at one target, great. But if you can launch a spread at 3 or 4 targets and cause them to ram into each other or ram into islands, cause massive confusion, do it. Every time, do it. Another thing about the destroyers is, even at this range, they may not be able to spot me. I don't know for certain. I don't have situational awareness yet. But, who knows? You can see my torpedoes are running in on that carrier. And there's a hit on the carrier. We get a second hit on the carrier. No, I guess he's down now. So I'm still launching on that battleship out there at 7.5 kilometers there. My first set of torpedoes, look at that. It's going to hit the battleship that's way out there at 6.9 kilometers. He gets hit once by me and then a couple more times by other ships. And look at that. Out of nowhere, a destroyer pops up. And I get real lucky here because if he had fired torpedoes before coming around this corner, he might have been able to surprise me with them. But as it is, I see where he is. I fire at him, and just as I fire, he adjusts. I adjust. You know, torpedo warfare in destroyers is really deadly. It's kind of one of those, you know, one of those samurai moments for you where, you know, chances are you're both going to die. So that's a hit on that battleship that was way out there. I launch a spread at the battleship close into me that's firing. Meanwhile, I've got this torpedo bomber that's desperately trying to drop torpedo spread on me. I'm pretty certain the carrier pilot is only launching torpedo bombers on me because he has no other choice. It's simply to kill me and get me away from him if he can. But yeah, torpedo bombers on destroyers is almost useless. So we got that cruiser out there. So I'm trying to include the cruiser in my shots on this aircraft carrier who's still moving. And so if the aircraft carrier changes, maybe I'll get lucky and hit that cruiser that seems to be AFK. There's some more torpedoes from the torpedo bomber.
Enemy aircraft carrier destroyed.
So we get that aircraft carrier. And I'm kind of assessing how those torpedoes are running. You know, if my fish look like they're running in on him, maybe I don't fire this next shot. But it looked to me like there was a chance of a miss. And I fire out behind him. And then as soon as I reload again, I kind of fire right towards the front of his nose, I think. And the idea there is that if he suddenly loaded and started driving his ship, he's going to see the torpedoes coming in. And look, you see his engines just started firing up. So I think he was AFK and he just had the misfortune to load in with torpedoes running in on his front and on his rear end.
Enemy severely damaged.
So he gets severely damaged. I start firing on this battleship that's 5.8 kilometers away, and then I notice that there's a friendly battleship 11 kilometers away. And if he closes the distance with me while my torpedoes keep running, there's a possibility he can run into it. So I put the battle on pause while I type and tell him to watch out for my torpedoes. And then get back to the business at hand. Okay, with this spread I fire at him. Now I see that battleship over there coming around this island. And so this is another one of these multi-purpose shots here, right? If he tries to turn to the right, I'm hoping I might nick him as he goes. Of course, that was wildly optimistic. He takes a hard turn to port here, and my torpedoes miss him. But I was also hoping that possibly the other battleship might come in between those two islands, and I might nick him coming through. So there we go, firing the Japanese guns. You'll notice it's something I don't usually do when I'm playing my destroyers, because when you fire at your enemy ships there, they get upset for some reason and start firing back, even when you're a tiny little destroyer like this who can only shoot every 10 seconds or so. So you can see his area of effect weapons start opening up on me at about 3 kilometers. But that's a Miyogi, and I know the Miyogi. He's going to eat some torpedoes here pretty quick, and he's not going to be my problem. And that'll be my top gun. Four hits on the bow. He's not having a good day. You know, once you get 6 kills, well, what the hell? You might as well get 7, right? But the torpedo bomber's on him. Our battleship takes a big ol' hit on him. And watch this. The torpedo spread fired at him causes him to make a radical turn to port. By the time he recovers from this turn to port, he's headed straight for this island over there to the left over there. Off at about my 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock there. He's almost dead, but you know there is such a thing as follow through, and I'm a big believer in it. You play until the whistle's blown. You go until the fight is over. Ooh, look at that deadly destroyer fire. And then his close-in guns open up on me. And so now it's time. He sets me on fire, destroys my engine. So quick repair. A couple torpedoes launched, and it's a 7-kill match. I'd like to say that's how it's done, but I'm not certain yet. 200,000 silver, 2,000 XP, 16 torpedo hits. It's pretty darn good. But again, like I said, I'm not sure yet if it's my skill or my enemy's lack of skill. But either way, we're learning and having fun, right? And there you go, 120,000 points of damage. That's a wonderful thing. I'd like to thank you for watching World of Warships with Captain Yamo, and I hope to see you